Rotate that forward a bit, and there we go. That should be enough room. What's up, guys? Today we got this 2005 BMW E46 here. We're going to be replacing the transmission mounts, engine mounts, and the oil pan gasket. Let's get to it. Time to wake up the neighbors. Now, we're going to start by disconnecting the battery. Where is the 10 mil? Ladies and gentlemen, the 10 millimeter is lost. Don't worry, I got a backup. Play battery is disconnected. Next, we're going to pull the wheels off. God, those are tight.
3 hours later.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to try a shorty socket. There we go. Finally got it. Have to give it the old donkey kick here. There it goes. We're going to start by removing the oil filter. Because we're going to drain the engine oil, make sure we get all the engine oil out of there. This will drain now that it's loose. Also going to open up our cap here, get a little bit more ventilation. Go down low, loosen our drain bolt. Drain all out of there. We're going to come up here, disconnect our intake tube, get this air box out of the way. Less than 10 minutes in and we already have a mess.
We'll get somebody to clean that up. We're the ones that gotta clean that up.
Whatever.
Damn it, Michael!
I'll clean it up because I don't want to be rolling around in engine oil. No big deal. I'm going to place this drain plug back in so that we don't get even more of a mess. I'm going to use some cheap cat litter, clean up this mess I made. No, brake clean isn't only for cleaning brakes.
Brake cleaner, not just for cleaning brakes.
Ah, there we go. Good as new. Next, we're going to remove this bolt down here for a dipstick tube. After that, your dipstick tube you can just pull straight up and out. Got a better view of it down here. There we go. You can take this plate out of the way too if you want some more room. This plate does have to come out of the way anyways, so now we're gonna take this engine guard out of the way. As you can see, this one's a little bit bashed up, but we're just gonna take a pry bar, move this out of the way so we can get on those bolts. I have to get a bigger pry bar. This thing's pretty bent up. There we go. That one did not sound good. And now that's out of the way. Now we're going to loosen up our engine mounts. Loosen the nut here. These are 16 millimeters as well. Now next we're going to have to loosen the steering rack bolt for the shaft. So we will need the steering wheel locked in place. Now, if you don't have a tool to lock the steering wheel in place, you can just use your seatbelt. So we're gonna loop this seatbelt down. This will just prevent the steering wheel from moving when we disconnect the shaft and avoid damaging our clock spring. So this will basically lock the steering wheel in place. It'll still have a little bit movement side to side if you force it, but you should be good enough like that. Before we disconnect this steering shaft, just in case, we're going to mark the shaft in relation to the coupling. Now this is a keyed shaft, so it's pretty hard to get wrong, but just in case, we don't know if this steering column is gonna turn or whatever, so now we're gonna come up here. This is an E10. I'm gonna get on that. There we go, loosen it up. Now we can grab the shaft, push it up as much as you can. And we're gonna loosen up our tie rod ends. This is one of my favorite tools for popping out tie rod ends and ball joints. Doesn't damage the boots, makes it really easy. There she goes. We're gonna loosen our rack bolts. There's a 16mm nut on the top. You gotta reach around to get on. Then you got a 15mm down here. There you go. Here's that nut. Same thing on this side. A little bit harder to get on, but now we got the steering rack up out of the way. We still have our lines and everything connected. No need to take those off. Don't want to make a mess. Now before we go dropping the subframe, you're going to want to make sure you support the engine up here. Make sure you got an engine support bar in place. Make sure the engine's solid, supported. No, it doesn't look that solid, but it is.
Yep, I worked all the kinks out. Solid as a rock.
Now we're going to remove this bolt for the self-leveling system. We're also going to disconnect this connector. And we're going to loosen up these rear subframe bolts, or rear control arm bolts. Now we can get it on our subframe and drop that down. Now I'm trying to loosen up this subframe. And I'm trying to not completely drop it out of the way if possible. So we're going to loosen it up enough to get this oil pan loose and then see if we got enough room to get it out of there. So now that we have, now I'm thinking once I get these loose, I'll be able to drop it down enough, even though the ball joints are still connected and everything, but we'll see. I don't have a jack supporting it. I'm just putting them in hand tight so that when it drops down, it'll catch it. Now we're gonna put our jack up under here. Now our jack's supporting it. I'm gonna take these bolts completely out. see how low we can drop this. Caught on the engine mounts there, but it's looking like it'll come down a significant amount. So just trying to do this carefully because I don't want any surprises. There we go. All right, now we're loose. We're gonna drop it down. And we will have enough room here to drop this down enough, even while still connected on our control arms. We can rotate that forward a bit, and there we go. That should be enough room. I drop it down a little bit more though. Okay, our oil pan bolts. This on jack stands on either side so that I can get under, get some more room. Also gonna come over here, disconnect our oil level sensor. Get that out of the way. Where the fuck did that go? Lost a 10 mil. Oh, there it is. Oh, come here. Now that we have our bolts removed, we're gonna pry down. I was having an issue with the power steering pump hitting the corner of the pan here, so I took the power steering pump loose. You just pull the pulley off. There's two 13 mils that you can get on. One from the back, one from the front, and then your power steering pump is up and out of the way. See over here where it was hitting, right there in the corner. Now that's not an issue. Pan's completely loose. We're gonna pull it out of there. Alright, so we got the pickup out. There's just two 10 mils here, one here, and it just pulls out. We're going to change the O-ring on it. The new one here. Make sure it's the same. We're going to take some fresh oil and lubricate it. It slides in easier, doesn't get damaged. Now we're gonna install our pickup. Push it in. There we go. Install our two bolts back here and one bolt near the front. So now we're just cleaning up this oil pan, getting ready for reinstallation. I also checked the torque on the oil pump sprocket. That nut is still torqued to spec. We're almost good to go for reinstallation. Also, there's a seal up on this dipstick tube that you're gonna wanna change beforehand. And we're gonna add a few dots of RTV where the timing cover meets the engine block before we reinstall the oil pan there. Right now I'm just scraping up anything on the surface of this block that would interfere with the gasket sealing. We're also going to put some dots of RTV back here in the rear where the rear main seal plate meets to the block. It's going to help our new oil pan gasket seal better because these are imperfect surfaces here. Just make sure you can't catch anything on the surface of this pan with your finger. Any old gasket material, corrosion, whatever. A new O-ring for our dipstick tube here. Now I'm just cleaning up the surface of this oil pan. Making sure it's all nice and clean. I pressure washed this oil pan last night. I didn't record that because it was pretty dark out, but got it pretty clean, honestly. We're just using a pressure washer, I think. No chemicals. It's looking pretty good. Now we're just putting some RTV in those areas we mentioned earlier. Now we're gonna have some bolts ready to go down somewhere easy to reach. And with our gasket on our pan here, as best we can, we're gonna guide this up. Don't forget to stick our dipstick tube back in as we're going up. All right guys, so I got the oil pan gasket done. I did the engine mounts, transmission service. We're gonna look up under here. Now, this is before I've cleaned anything, but looks like we're good as far as leaks. I'm gonna pressure wash under here and check it all again later, and I'll update you guys after that. But sorry I didn't film all the reassembly, but I had a lot of work to do on this thing. So hope you all understand. The reassembly is just the same as the removal, so there's nothing too special about it. If you were able to remove it all, then I think you're able to assemble it all, you know. It's, you know, nothing too special, but. Now, I'm gonna do a separate video on the valve cover gasket and spark plugs. So, if you guys want to, you can check out that video. So this was after pressure washing everything and test driving. It's pretty clean under there, but I did see a small leak coming from the oil filter housing, so I'll cover that in the future when I do that repair. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok @Supernato. Catch you guys next time.